Okay, so now I'm going to do my second part of my research where I am explaining different media products that are similar to my media product, which is creating a YouTube channel that will help young filmmakers to learn and so I can sort of share my experience. So the first media product would be, that is similar to mine, would be a well-known YouTube channel called Film Riot. Here they upload visual effects tutorials, or they review their audience's films, and sometimes they hold like big film competitions, and then which people submit their films, normally like 1 minute, and then you can win big prizes to do with films. For instance, like cameras, microphones, all things like that. So when they film their video, they have a host who is Ryan Connolly, and he is a very he stands in front of a green screen where they put their they make it look. They have this little set, and they film it, and they put that on the green screen, so it looks better than just standing behind a wall or something. But so yeah, and obviously they had a production crew that can design that fake set which they have, and then Ryan Connolly is very charismatic, and he's very sort of out there. He's very happy, not happy. Yeah, he's just very enthusiastic, which I thought was very effective for the show and all their videos, because people are more likely to watch if you see that someone is interested in what they're doing, and instead of blatantly just saying, "Oh, so I did this and that and that," which you get some people do, but these you can tell they're enthusiastic about what they do. Then we have a preview of the effects. So, for example, if they was doing a lightsaber, we'd have them create a little scene rather than just the one shot of them do the effects. They create a nice little sequence, and sometimes it can be very comedic, but then the effects along with it. And then we have a walkthrough of how they set up the effect and what they did in post to achieve it. And they use stuff like After Effects, and because yeah, that's what they use, and it's very effective. It's just a good way of doing it, so then we can see. Usually they tell you what they have in the video. So, for example, they have a lightsaber with a massive stick coming out of it, and then in post they'll tell you that what they did is they masked this one out or something to do with that. Yes, they are. The channel's technical quality is very good and will appeal to a wide range of audiences, because it's very interesting to film and create one of these effects, because they're usually inspired by effects in a film, which the audience would like to try and recreate and put in their own thing. Because if you can create a lightsaber or have someone fly or run the speed of Flash, people do find that quite interesting. Which is obviously they have done that and done that quite well, obviously, to build quite a big fan base. There's more than one person in their production who features in their videos, and they're also and they're all very interested in films, and they know each other quite well. I think they've grown up in school together, and yeah, they've all got the same passion, which I feel is very good. Because as we watch these and we see these people who have a good bond, generally passionate about film, it makes it more interesting for us to watch. Because I think, yeah, it's just, if you're watching someone that actually care, it's better than someone that doesn't, if that makes sense. Then I think that the videos are great and provide us useful tips for filmmaking. Yeah, so I feel like their videos are great and they show us useful tips for filmmaking. However, I feel like they throw us right in the deep end, whereas they will tell you an effect like how to do the lightsaber, but there's no context to what each effect is. For example, say if you're just starting out and you don't know what After Effects is, people want to learn how to do the lightsaber thing, but in the long run, they're not going to know, because they might use the masking tool, but they won't know how to apply it. They don't know the context of what that actually does, really, generally. So if they want to apply it to a laser work, they probably will not know what it does, if that makes sense. That's what I used to Photoshop. I wanted to learn how to manipulate photos, but now, when I used to do one singular tutorial on how to do one thing, but then realised that that's not right, because the things that I learned there, I couldn't really use it in real life, or in other things that I wanted to do, because I didn't know the basics of Photoshop. So then I sort of learned how to do it myself, if that makes sense. Then, so therefore, I feel the videos are aimed for people who have a bit more of an understanding in like their editing software and like camera techniques and so on. So maybe not for complete beginners, whereas my idea would be for people who are just starting out and just want to learn on like a low budget, if that makes sense. Then another media product that I'm doing would be similar is Peter McKinnon. He has a YouTube channel with over 3 million subscribers and posts videos that are to do with filmmaking tips. As we see in his videos, he has all these expensive cameras and like equipment, dollies and drones and all this expensive equipment that he does get given to him sometimes, and obviously buys himself. For example, he has this Canon camera which is like worth up to $8,000, and then so from this, and by the look of it and style of his videos, the technical quality is obviously very, very good, and it's very interesting to watch. It's just very slick, all his cuts and everything is very interesting. But then, his video is very interesting and now to do with all aspects of filmmaking, which is like other film writer is a bit more effects, whereas he does teach you stuff like camera techniques and stuff like that. For instance, he teaches us editing techniques, basics of cameras and stuff like that. So compared to film writing, he gives us content that helps us learn more about the basics of filmmaking. Yeah, so compared to film writing, he gives us content that is that can sort of apply to a wide range of filmmakers, and then who are either starting off or people who have experience and just want to learn something new. Then, as he has become more popular, he's given a lot more. He's given a lot more and like can afford a lot more. So, for example, he will buy more expensive cameras and equipment, which he will use in videos, and therefore this has led to more of his videos being to like reviewing equipment, like which lens should you use or what camera is best. Is this camera better than this one and stuff like that. So, which I feel isn't really meant for like low budget filmmakers or people who are just starting off, because people haven't always got the money to spend that on equipment. So therefore, as he's progressed and we've seen him grow, people have seen him grow, his content might not be as useful for people who originally started watching off, when his videos were more like this and that, and if that makes sense. That's it. He also travels quite a lot, so he does travel quite a lot, and it makes it a lot more interesting content, because we can see how he shoots his videos or photos on a day out, on like a filming day, and I think that's very interesting, because we can we see his process of how he would assess a situation and film or video it. Then that's it. I feel his content is very useful for anyone who's interested in filmmaking, but as he's progressed, content has become more aimed for people who are already working in film or photography and have the money to buy all this expensive equipment, or are looking to do it. But he does still post some videos that aim towards smaller, low-budget filmmakers, like he'll have a 2-minute Tuesday, how to do this effect. But I feel like that has sort of died out now, and it's not as you don't get as much content like that from him as you used to. He has his channel is very similar to Casey Neistat in the way that they both have a lot of money and like drones and cameras and equipment, and they both post very similar content, but they have their own unique little twist on it, which is why they gained so many subscribers from there, because they can grip people with their content. Then the last product that I thought was similar to mine the most, and I thought was very unique, would be DSLR Guide. Here we have a YouTuber is a big channel, but not as big as the other two. He's got about 830,000 subscribers, and he's taking a while to grow up to that amount, which is still a lot, but compared to Casey Neistat, film writer, and Peter McKinnon, obviously not as much. Let's see. The channel is single-handedly run by this young man in his mid-20s named Simon Cade. He also makes videos about filmmaking and gives great advice on setting up lighting, tips for audio, camera techniques, editing, what his setup is, and very useful for people just starting off as a filmmaker, because that's what makes his channel different from people like Peter McKinnon and Filmright. Then he relates. So this means that he relates to filmmakers, which is why I like him, because he's a bit more down to earth and a bit more based in reality, like for us. Whereas he obviously doesn't have all the. He still has got expensive equipment, but it's a bit more affordable for people like us and stuff. So I feel like it's very good. We can learn off him very well because he's relatable. He still obviously has good equipment, but he shows how you don't need expensive equipment to do filmmaking. So I feel his technical aspect of filmmaking is very good because he's still able to create high quality videos. Even though his channel has grown a lot and he does get better equipment and he's getting more contacts and he's still doing adverts and with other people, his content doesn't really change and he still has the feeling of filmmaking on a budget and compared to other channels, but compared to other channels out there. I feel his channel is very independent compared to Filmright, for example, which they have a big production crew that will help, and they make a lot of short films where they have loads of people helping and on the set, and they can afford to buy a set if that makes sense. And then and Filmright I feel is very effective because it shows filmmaking. And I feel he's very effective because it shows filmmaking doesn't have to be so complicated. So this is the reason I'd like to create a channel similar to this, in the sense that I post videos which can be relatable to filmmakers who are just starting off. And as my target audience is for people my age, I feel it would be interesting to people to learn off someone who is at a similar age, so they can relate and learn new things, as I am as well, because I'm still young and I'm learning still. So even though the mine will be different to DSLR Guide in the sense that I'm still starting off and I'm still learning stuff new, and as I will progress, I'd want to see them. I'm gonna upload that, and if that makes sense. Whereas the other YouTubers I've mentioned have already had this talent. They've already had a few years in the filmmaking industry. Some are bigger than others. But I just want to share my experience of just making short films and just having a passion for film. So then the first two channels are very good for learning filmmaking and aim for people who are a bit further down the line in filmmaking, whereas DSLR Guide is set a bit more in reality, where people can really learn about films, as if it does become a true passion and you have the money to create the videos, like in Filmright and Peter McKinnon, I feel they are the next step. But I am trying to make a channel that's a bit more based down in reality and just a bit more affordable for people who are just starting off in film, if that makes sense.